I'm kind of feeling embarrassed while reading. How can you solve mysteries to help other people if you're going to be dead? Hello everybody! Welcome to my channel. This is Sinag and we are doing a new reading vlog. We're going to read different paranormal monster romances. So this is highly inspired by the book that I am currently reading right now, which is an ARC or Advanced Reader copy. So that is Inextricably Tied by Aveda. So it is the second book in the Skin duology, I think. But the first book, the novella, is entitled Skin. By the time that you're watching this, it is already out, and I just wanted to gush about it because so far I'm liking what's happening in here. So what's my history nga ba with monster romances? So I wanted to explore more the different types of monsters. Like for example, I don't know what a banshee is. So I am basically expanding my knowledge with the different types of monsters and paranormal things. So anyway, it is not my number one romance subgenre, but I'm going to try in this one. So let's now talk about Inextricably Tied because I have something to say. So I'm actually in the 20% mark of it, and so far I'm really liking it. Though the first scene or the catalyst for this book for them to be able to meet Agony, the night terror is very dumb for me. So, okay, wait. So before we continue, I forgot. Let's talk about the characters first. So we have here the banshee named Harbinger and then the gargoyle named Flint. So they are our main characters in Skin, the first book in this duology. And they are partners in doing or solving mysteries together. So Harbinger, she's a banshee. So I don't know if this is true to all banshees because I didn't research. But from what we can see on her character, when she touches an object, she can see who touched it and their thoughts and basically anything that relates to that. And then Flint, the gargoyle, is her bodyguard and protector. And so we have a bodyguard romance here and a workplace romance all in one. I suggest you read the first book, which is the novella. It's very fast to read and you can really see their dynamics together and how they care for each other, especially Flint. So in this one, the catalyst for them to meet Agony, the night terror. So I think this is a throuple, but I don't know if it is MFM or MMF. But so far I'm really liking it. Okay, wait. So let's go back to the catalyst. Okay. So the reason why they met the night terror, Agony, I'm not going to tell here how it happened, but because I don't want to spoil it to you if you wanted to read this book. So, but it's kind of dumb for me. Harbinger is so dumb, but I think it is kind of true to her character because as we can see from not just from this book but from the first book, she's kind of reckless and she's basically has a little to no self-preservation, which is I can relate, but it's kind of annoying to read in a book because she always put others first and not herself. And when your job is to do mystery or whatever the F she is doing, the most important thing I think is for you to prioritize yourself because how can you solve mysteries to help other people if you're going to be dead? But yes, so she makes a lot of dumb decisions during the first chapter of this book. So far, after that catalyst, after that dumb moment from her, it got so good na. Here's the thing, I like Flint a lot, the gargoyle. I like him a lot. And because we had a scene here wherein they are having sex together. They are in one room and Agony was forced to look at the wall because Flint and Harbinger will have some play sex thing together. I don't know what you call this, but basically Flint is not in the right physical condition to do the act with Harbinger. So he is just instructing Harbinger what to do. So basically, Harbinger is masturbating, and then Flint is telling her what she does with the dildo and the everything with the toys that she's using. And then in this one, Flint is so hot. The way he instructs Harbinger on what to do. It's so hot, and it's funny because even Agony, the night terror, because he was faced to the wall because he was forced to not look at them while doing that. Anyway, he's also like taking a peek of what's happening, and even like, yes sir, Flint. And I was like, I don't know if this is making sense, but so far I'm really liking it. The dynamics between the three is very interesting and very fun for me. The only thing that I don't like in this book is the first chapter and whatever the fuck Harbinger did with the decision and everything. But after that, after the three of them are already together, it's very fun. And by the way, this is kind of a mystery, romantic suspense with mystery. So they are looking for, what do you call this, for missing girls, because the night terror, what do you call it, Agony, is actually a night terror from Reed's mind. So Reed in here is a serial killer, and what do you call this, Harbinger and Flint were tasked to search for the missing girls that this serial killer attacked. And they are using Agony, the night terror, as lead as to where the girls might be. And yes, so yeah, so there's a mystery aspect in here, and yeah, I'm really liking this theme scene so far, and I like Flint a lot. So yeah, so that's I want to see the three of them together. Like, if you know, you know. But because I'm curious as to how that's going to happen, because the other, or the 1/3 of this relationship is a night terror. Like, how are you going to do what you're going to do? So I'm curious, but I'm very excited to read, and I'm much enjoying it right now. So anyway, that's my update for this book, and I'll update you more once I have something to say, if I have something more to say, or if I finish the book. So see you later at the next clip. I'm just gonna say it that Aveda's writing style is so good as her publishing career continues. Her writing style gets even good for me. And okay, so I just finished reading this book. Oh, and by the way, right now is actually 1 a.m. na during the release day of this book. And yeah, so happy release day for Inextricably Tied, and I actually highly recommend. So anyway, to the review, okay, I gave this book 5 stars. I think I will give this book 5 stars. So I just finished it, and it's so good. And I'm so happy that I requested an arc for this one, because my favorite prequel of for her Fangs with Benefits series, or her paranormal monster romance, is Skin, which is the prequel of this book. And I don't know, this is so good. And okay, so let's talk about what happened in this book. So we have 3 main characters. So this is actually an MMF pansexual romance between the 3, and those are Flint, which is a gargoyle, Harbinger, which is a banshee, and Agony, which is a night terror. So I loved their growth, both as characters and their relationships together. So in the first book, the prequel Skin, we get to see Harbinger and Flint work together, because this has a workplace romance but also a bodyguard romance trope in this, since they are working together and Flint is basically Harbinger's bodyguard. And if you remember my first clip where I am bashing Harbinger because she's kind of dumb, in here with what she's doing because of her recklessness. But I appreciate the fact that Aveda Vice, or the author, explored that and showed to us that there's something with her, and not just her but all of our three main characters. Like, we get to see their character growth, we get to see their backstory, and what and the reason why they are the way they are. And so it's not really as excusing their reckless behaviors or their behaviors in the present, but giving us context as to why they are acting the way they are, or why their reactions are like that. And so I appreciate that, because I don't know, this book is kind of what they call this, perfect. This book is kind of great because it balances well the macro plot with the micro plot, which is the relationship between the three, and at the same time these steamy scenes, like it's all chef's kiss. And I really like that, and I appreciate that a lot. And I love how their personal struggles and their personal things that's going on with them as individuals was tied well with the story. And I don't know, it feels natural, like the connection between the macro plot and the micro plot was interwoven very well. And I also think that the how the three of them, or how Harbinger, Flint, and Agony deals with their past was handled well in this one. And I don't know how the author did this to be able to write this magnificent book, this book wherein everything feels like in balance, like nothing is outweighing the other, like everything or every point and the book touched or the book involves, it was really explored well in this book. And so I highly recommend this. And the steamy scenes is so good, like it's so good, and I highly recommend this one. This is very steamy, by the way, and very spicy. Yes, so if you want to read that, there's a lot of that in here, and alongside the plot, it's very good, so I highly recommend. Anyway, I really enjoyed this so much, and I'm giving it 5 stars, obviously, and I highly recommend. So I think this is Aveda Vice's best book for me, and I think it is my favorite so far among the published books. We also get to see cameos from Bound, which is another prequel naman. I have a review of it naman on my Goodreads and Instagram or Bookstagram account, so you can just check it with the links down in the description. So this book made me intrigued on the dynamics between this world, and especially we get to see the main characters in Bound, and I can't wait to read the full-length novel of it. But so far, this is my favorite duologies, the Lost in Touch duology, the Skin, and Inextricably Tied, and I'm happy that I requested it. So anyway, so thank you pala for Aveda Vice for giving me a copy of an ARC or advanced review copy of this book. So update you once I have progressed on the next book that we're going to read for this reading club. So hello, I finished another book, another paranormal monster romance book, and I didn't have the chance to update you at the halfway point because I was enjoying it, and I decided to just be done with it in a single sitting. And basically, I finished reading Little Piece of Sass by Clio Evans. This is the 5th book in the Creatures Cafe series, and I'm actually reading this series out of order. So I first read the first book in the series that I've read. I forgot the title, but it is Between a Human and a Naga Princess, from what I can remember. And very enjoyable to read because the writing style is very easy to read. It's very low stakes. So anyway, this book, Little Piece of Sass, is a FFM polyamorous romance. So we have Al, a werewolf, and then Luna, a werecat, and then Queen, a human. So in this one, Al and Luna were actually mated already, and I think they were mated for 400 years, and now they are wanting more. They are wanting another mate or another partner for their pack, and here comes Queen. So she basically has a reason why she wanted to go to this or to work in this creature cafe and the cafe. She wants to resolve something from her past, and if you wanted to know, you can read this book. And yes, so basically that's the reason why she moved from Miami to this place, and she basically has an aversion towards monsters because of her past. There's a very interesting dynamics between the three of them. So we get to see fully shifted because, as I've mentioned, Al and Luna were monsters, like they are werewolf and werecat respectively, and they have a scene in here wherein they are in their fully shifted form, that's what they called, and they're having sex while in their fully shifted form. Here's the thing, I'm very open-minded when it comes to different things during sex scenes or steamy scenes, so I don't mind, but I don't know if other people will find this very icky. I think because they are described as very animal-like during those times. So if this is not your gig, then I don't know what to say. Maybe skip that for a little bit. But anyway, I find this kind of bonkers or out of this world things happening during steamy scenes very fun to read, and I don't know, it just didn't icks me or didn't really affects my reading experience in a bad way. So I'm here for the very out of this world, very fun things or addition to a novel. Anyway, I'm enjoying this series so far, and I can't wait to read the barista's own story because he's a very intriguing person or character to follow since the first book that I've read. Anyway, this one is a successful read, I think. So this is a 4-star, and I don't know, I feel like I'm enjoying this reading vlog and this reading paranormal monster romances trope so much, and it's kind of surprising to me. And I know I have read only 2 books still, and it is not enough to have a conclusion towards whether I like paranormal or monster romances. But so far, I'm really enjoying it, and I don't know why I didn't enjoyed this genre or subgenre of romance before, but I think it really depends to what you read. So I still don't know. I will save that conclusion or analysis at the end, but so far I'm really enjoying this so much, and I'm really happy because I initially wanted to read all of the what do you call this, experimentation or hypothesis that I'm doing, and for this one, whether I like paranormal monster romances. So I'm assuming and I'm hoping that I'm going to love it, and so far I'm really enjoying reading this subgenre of romance. So yes, I don't know what to say. Anyway, I'm going to update you once I have something to say on the next book that we're going to read. I still don't know what, because I'm a mood reader. If you don't know, or if you're new to this channel, hello, I'm Sinag. I'm a mood reader, and I don't want to set any TBRs on my reading vlogs because I don't want to be constricted to reading only those, because my mood heavily affects my reading or the books that I wanted to read. And so yeah, so I'm just going through with it. Anyway, I'll update you once I have something to say on the next book that we're going to read. I was not able to update you at the halfway mark, but I finished reading Little Slice of Hell by Clio. So this is the first book in the Creature Cafe series. This is about an incubus and a human. So Dante is our incubus and Peter is our human. So this is also an paranormal romance. And this one, it's steamy as usual from what I've read so far from Clio Evans. It's very steamy, and I like how because right now I've read 3 of their books already, and from what I've noticed, the steamy scenes or the sexual scenes in each book were very steamy and kind of a different from each other. And I still don't know with regard to the overall review of those in terms of this one as a series, but so far from the 3 books that I've read, it's very steamy and very refreshing to read, because it doesn't feel like one book copies the other. I don't have a lot of thoughts about this one because it's just steamy. Like, the plot is very basic, the characterization is there, but it's not really remarkable. And let's talk about that for a bit, because I think this is the first book in the series, and I think it isn't the best book or best representative of the series as a whole. Because for me personally, in my very own subjective personal opinion, the first book of a series is the representative of the series. It is what represents the series the most. It has all the themes and the vibe that the series have. But for me personally, this book isn't it. Like, it isn't the most hookable, is that a word? But it isn't the book that has a lot of hook for a reader to continue reading the series. For me personally, if this is the first book that I've read from this series, I will most probably have a second thoughts whether to read more or just stop there, because this is very meh for me in terms of the overall package. In terms of the steam, it's okay, but compared to the other books, to the 5th and 7th book that I've read, it is very on the low side or in the low end. Like quality wise, it is not as great as the following books. I think that also has something to say with the author's writing style, because if that is the case, then it means that the author definitely improves with their writing style, and that's fun to know about, and see the growth of the author. For me, as a reader, I suggest, if you haven't read this series, if you want to read this series, then I'm suggesting you start from other books and not this first one. And I can really recommend it because each book can stand alone. Like, you get enough information with regard not just to the relationship in that book, but also to the macro plot, without needing other books to support you with that. And the only thing naman that you should know is that the barista knows everything. You will not miss a lot reading this book out of our order. So far I've read the 7th book and the 5th book before this one, and I'm highly suggesting you read, because I can't say much about the other books because I haven't read them obviously, but I'm highly recommending you to read either the 5th or 7th books first before this one. So I gave this book pala 3 stars because it's an okay book. It isn't great, but it isn't disappointing to read. So anyway, that's all for this update, and I'll update you later. The next book that we're going to read is Muscles and Monsters. I forgot the author's name, but it is shown naman here in the picture somewhere in the screen. I like the cover art in this one. It's very pleasing to look at, and I like the pastel kind of Violet. I already finished chapter 1 yesterday, I think, and um, I forgot to take note of the main character's name, so I'm going to update you with that on the next clip. I'm liking this one so far because it's very light, and our hero is a wolf, and this book, from what I believe, isn't a shifter story. It's not a shifter kind of romance, because from what I believe, the monsters in this book doesn't shift. Like, it is what they are, what they are. Like, if they look like a wolf that looks like a person, I can't explain well, obviously, but I think that's the kind of monster romance that I like. And this book, and mind you, I'm still at the start of chapter 2, but this is the kind of monster romance that I like, and I think this is my favorite subgenre of romance, like the light kind of monster romance. And the reason for that, I think, is because monster is kind of a general term, so it can span towards different or other subgenre, like fantasy romance, paranormal romance, what else, sci-fi romance. So it's very fitting for me because I really don't like to choose one over the other. So let's just put a collective term on it. But anyway, I feel like this portrays the perfect, or my perfect subgenre of romance. So chapter 1, it's like they're meet cute only, and showing to us who our main characters are. But I still like it, and I like the writing style, and I just like the vibes, the overall vibes in this one. So our heroine is a pastry chef, or she owns a pastry shop, and she specializes on wedding cakes, while our hero is a wolven. I actually don't know if that's an actual term, but he calls himself in this one as wolven, and he is an owner of a gym, and he has a friend who is his co-owner in that gym, and that friend is a bird. I'm just imagining what they look like a wolf and a bird being friends. Anyway, and aside from that, doing gym, like, I can't imagine a bird doing lifting weights and something like that. Anyway, it's just a bit funny to me, but I really am excited to finish this book. What I can remember, kasi in this one, in their world, monsters and humans were starting to cohabitate or live together peacefully. They are still in the kind of transition stage. They are still new to this, to the monsters living alongside humans. And from their perspective, there's not much human monsters relationship. And the first in their town, is I don't know if it's the governor's daughter or the mayor's daughter, but someone in high authority, the daughter of someone in high authority in their town, were recently married to a monster. That's where I am so far, because our heroine was the one who makes the cake for the daughter of the town's higher person and a monster's wedding. So that's all for my update for this clip. I just finished Muscles and Monsters, and it is written by Ashley Bennett, and I gave it 4 stars. I like this book. I like the writing style of the author. It is very light-hearted, and I liked how the author wrote the storyline and basically gave us a very light-hearted monster romance. So I think that's what I really like in a monster romance, because I don't like too much angst, and it just gave the right amount of fluff and romance for me. The reason why this book was a 4-star to me instead of a 5 stars, because this one is kind of has some situations wherein it is very cringy for me. Like for example, the emojis. Like whenever Atlas and Tigan are texting each other, they always use a lot of emojis, and it's kind of cringy for me. And I don't know, I can't imagine Atlas, the Wolven. He's actually looks like a wolf, is bipedal, and I think he resembles to humans in that way because he also walks on two legs. So anyway, I can't imagine him using that much emojis, and I don't know, it's very it's very cringe in my part. And aside from that, their attraction or their affection towards each other, so very, it's too sweet for my preference, and I think that's why it's I I'm kind of feeling embarrassed while reading while reading their interactions with each other. But especially after the fact wherein they are just full on being romantic with each other and going towards mating. They're very sweet with each other, which is I don't know, but it's the way they are written, that kind of sweetness, that's too much sweet for me personally. But if you like that, then this book's for you. That's it for this one. And I'm currently reading The Dragon's Bride by Katee Robert, and I think I am in the 20% mark. So I think I will also include that in here because that one is also a monster romance with a dragon and a human, between a dragon and a human. We're basically still in the introduction part. Introduction in the terms of our main characters, Sol and Briar, was just getting to know each other. Aside from that, I also wanted to take note that it's kind of weird for me to read this book. So in my head, I don't really call the hero with his name Sol because my cat is named Sol. I find it weird to be named after a hero, especially a dragon one, especially if this is going to be, which I believe is a steamy romance. And so I just pretend that his name is not Sol and I'm just calling him the dragon in my head. So if I called him the dragon in this one instead of his name Sol, then that's the reason. That's it for now, and see you later. I'm in chapter 19 in The Dragon's Bride, and it's boring. And this book has 26 chapters and an epilogue, and I'm in chapter 19, and so far nothing's happening. And I know this is a romance, and the romance or the relationship between our two main characters are the point or the central focus of these books. But I also want something to happen externally, like especially this one is a fantasy romance, so she is in the realm of the dragons. So I don't know, but nothing's happening so far. And the most plot that we got was from the start of the book on what happened to Briar and her husband, and how did she end up in this situation with Sol. And by the way, I hate the name Sol because I can't take our main character or our hero seriously because he has the same name as my cat. So I don't know, he's really not doing anything for me because of that. Anyway, yeah, so nothing's really happening right now except them having sex and talking and just talking together. And I don't know, it's kind of boring for me, but I hope I can finish it already so that I could be done with this reading vlog. That's my update for now. I really have nothing to say about what's happening in the story because there's nothing going on. I just wish something will happen. That's my update for now, and see you later. I'm finally done with The Dragon's Bride by Katee Robert, and I'm giving it 3 stars. So this is an okay book for me. I really am not invested with our main characters. Like for me personally, I think I like Sol more because he's very caring and a lovable hero for in this one, but I cannot take him seriously because of what I've said in the previous clips. But Briar, on the other hand, was very, she's either annoying or dumb, or a combination of both most of the times. And I also can take her seriously, and I don't care about her. So the fantasy, this is a fantasy romance. So for me, in the romance part, it gave what it should give in terms of the romance aspect, but the fantasy aspect, we didn't get to see any world building. And because majority of this book, we get to follow Briar and Sol just talking or having sex. And for me personally, I'm not against that, but since this is a fantasy romance, I also wanted to see the world and how the author will incorporate or will balance the two genres. And so I was kind of disappointed because I am looking forward to knowing what the keep or what the dragon's realm look like, and we barely get to know information about that. So aside from the lake and the forest and the interior of Sol's, I don't know if it's a castle or a home. I really don't know much, but I wish we get to see more about that. And aside from that, other dragons as well, because Sol is the, what do you call this? He has the highest authority in the dragon realm, and so I just wish we get to see more dragons aside from Aldis. I don't know if Aldis is Sol's cousin, but she's also a dragon that lives in that lives in that place. Obviously, as you can see, I am forgetting na information about, and I just recently finished it, and I feel like the world building wasn't that much what do you call this, wasn't made well. And I think the author focuses more, or I think the author focused more on the romance than the world and other things aside from what's, because because this is a marriage of convenience, so that's our main theme that's our main thing going on in this story, and the author just focuses on that and nothing else. Like there's no plotly, or there's no other thing going on outside of our main characters. And so I think that's why, for me personally, I find it a bit boring, because especially, I think, if you don't like the marriage of convenience trope, I don't think you're going to find the entire book really interesting, since it also doesn't include a lot of world building and just what I've said, other things aside from the marriage of convenience trope. So if you don't like that, then I don't think you're going to really love this book. I think you will feel okay, just like what I felt. Like it's just an okay book, but it will not elicit much strong emotions from you, and especially loving the book. So I think that's just my opinion though. But in general naman, I actually am not really, what do you call this, I'm not really expecting much with this book, because in general, me and Katie Roberts writing style, or Katie Roberts books, we have a love-hate relationship. Like there's something in her books that I really, really love, while there are also some of her books that I am really averse to. And so example of that is, I loved her Touch of Taboo series, but I love the first book, love the Your Dad Will Do, but the others are just okay for me. I think I also DNF one, so it's definitely not a perfect 5-star series for me. I haven't gave any of her books a glowing review or rating, and I actually DNF a lot of her books in her catalog. So going back to Katie Robert, Ooh, should I just give up on her? But the thing is, okay, so since I like monster romance, I'm going to give um another book from this series a chance, and then if I like that book, then maybe I'm going to continue this one and the Touch of Taboo series. But if the second one in this series wasn't a part what I like, then maybe I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop right there, and I'm just going to spend my time reading other books. And aside from that, I also think that I am going to do the same with the Touch of Taboo series. I'm going to read those that I like, and those that I don't, then I don't care. So I think that's my realization with regard to Katie Roberts. But if you like what she's doing, then I'm happy for you. If Saul was just described as dragon with some human aspects or human attributes, and he's also not a shifter, so he's a full on dragon that has kind of a built like he has in his torso. He looks like a human, just like what you see in the cover, so he looks like that. And yeah, so I'm kind of disappointed in terms of I'm not disappointed with the monster romance aspect, but with the world and everything. Yeah, so anyway, this is supposed to be the end of this one, but I wanted to add another one. I know I'm being kind of chaotic, but I just realized that I still haven't read Aveda's other book, Fear and Other Love Languages, and it is an erotic horror. And so I just wanted to read that and make that the last book that we're going to read in this reading vlog. Like, it really is the last one. I'm not going to add anymore. And I'm just in my monster romance era right now, and I'm going to update you once I finish that book. So I finally finished reading Fear and Other Love Languages by Aveda, and I'm giving it 3 stars. So I know that horror is subjective, but every time I pick up a horror book, whether it's the horror genre or erotic horror, I always assumed or expect that I'm going to be scared. But since horror is a very subjective thing, I am most of the time disappointed because it didn't really scare me, or I really don't care, or basically I'm not scared with what's happening in the book. Basically what I'm saying is that I did this to myself. So yeah. So this one is about Elia, and they are a employee. I don't know where they are working, but it is not really the main focus of this book. And then this is a menage, so we have a nightmare and night terror, and to be honest, I really am not scared. I know that the very idea of a nightmare and a night terror are kind of horror like, but for me personally, it's not my thing. So basically that's just what I'm saying. It's not my thing. And though the horror aspect in here failed for me, the romance or the steamy scenes, the erotica, is very on point, and so that's why it is a 3 stars, because at the end of the day it is still an erotica something. So I still enjoyed reading this book. I also loved how it ended, Elia and their manager, and if you know, you know. So that's it, because it is very short and very fast to read. It's kind of fun because the title of this book is Fear and Other Love Languages. So it is like implied that their love language is scaring Elia. And so I don't know. It's kind of interesting and kind of sweet. Sweet to me. Actually, I still don't know what things or situation are considered horror for me personally. If you have any horror recommendations, whether it is horror, purely horror book, or horror laced with erotica or other genre, please comment it down below because I am curious and I wanted to try more horror books. But some of the horror books kasi that I am seeing on Goodreads or Bookstagram, or they didn't interest me or they didn't capture my interest. Like, I don't care. Like, the synopsis usually are kind of bland. I want lots of plot twist and action, and I want something that will make me look forward to reading the next chapter. And yeah, so basically that's like my criteria for horror and thriller. Like, I need it to be something action packed and lots of plot twists. So that's what I like. So if you have any recommendations, book recommendations, then please comment it down below and I would love to read those. So that's it for this video. So I genuinely enjoyed this reading vlog. I love this reading vlog actually, and I just loved reading monster romances, and I don't know why I just now realized that. And yes, but I am looking forward to reading more monster romances. And if you also have suggestions or recommendations of different paranormal, sci-fi, monster, fantasy, romance, please comment it down below. And the weirder or the more absurd monster romance, if you can think of one or if you, please comment it down below because I love I love reading weird kind of books. Weird but in a funny way, or weird in a cute or sweet way. So anyway, I'm rambling na, but that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and let's see each other on my next video. Bye!